Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm at the Westchester County Airport, but I want to make this video kind of be focused on LaGuardia Airport because I originally had a ticket out of LaGuardia Airport today to West Palm Beach, but I had a couple of conflicts, so I had to push it back, and I'm now taking a flight out of the Westchester County Airport a little bit later in the day. But I'm still going to get to fly through LaGuardia's airspace, which I'm super excited about. That's right, everybody, I've done this before. I'm flying on a Breeze A220 from Westchester to Vero Beach, and I've purposely selected a seat on the left-hand side of the aircraft as we fly through LaGuardia's airspace to see all of the air traffic and sights, of course, in New York City. Come along with me. So today, LaGuardia is currently landing on runway 22 and departing on runway 13. We'll be looking out for that traffic. We'll also be looking out for Newark departures. Tonight we'll be using runway 16 for departure, and after takeoff we'll be making a right-hand turn, climbing over Westchester County initially to 3,000 feet, 1,000 feet below the LaGuardia arrivals. We'll then continue along toward the Hudson River and get a left-hand turn, radar vector to the south to the white intersection. I'm just hoping that the left-hand turn is in a good spot so I can see all of LaGuardia and its operations and a good view of Manhattan, of course. I can't wait. To put it into perspective, we're going to be doing what this Bermudair Embraer will do. After pushing back, the plane will taxi to runway 16. The plane will take off on this runway to the southeast, and as soon as the airplane is airborne, its nose will be facing the Long Island Sound, but right after takeoff, the plane makes a giant U-turn to the right and heads toward the Hudson River. From there, controllers will turn the plane left to the south. I'm spending a few more minutes up here in the observation lounge before the sun sets and head on down to TSA to get to the gate area. Okay, I just cleared TSA and I am now on the air side here at the Westchester County Airport. Today my gate is going to be number 1. Now it is dark outside, seasons are changing, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to see the flights that I'm looking for in the air, but we'll see what happens. So the flight from LaGuardia is actually delayed about an hour, so not much of a big deal because I am taking a flight that leaves several hours later down to Vero tonight, but it is what it is. Don't forget to check out that other video that I have where I actually was all set to fly out of LaGuardia Airport and I completely made the decision based upon air traffic to fly out of Westchester. Today it's just a more personal reason why I decided to fly out of Westchester Airport. It's time to work my way over to gate 1. I don't think I've ever been assigned that gate as a departure. And here's the plane. It's hard to see due to the bright lights inside. It'll never happen, but I wish interior lights were dim, like the interior of a control tower at night, so you can see out. Who wants to face inward at an airport? All right, everybody, we'll be boarding the plane in a couple of moments, and tonight's call sign, as usual, is Moxie. Okay, Airbus A220. Wasn't expecting it today, but here I come. I'm likely the only person on this flight who's in Westchester but thinking about LaGuardia. Soon, we'll be on frequency 120.4. That's the LaGuardia departure control frequency. I can't wait, but for now, we need to work with local ATC to get out of where we are so we can head south. While parked here at Gate 1 with the brakes released, it's time to check in with Westchester Ground Control for pushback clearance.
Westchester Ground, Moxie 581, Gate 1 ready for pushback.
Moxie 581, Westchester Ground, Cadence Bravo, pushing Alpha to the
Push on Alpha approved, we do have Bravo, Moxie 581.
We move backwards with the goal of ending up in the tug remove position. It's standard, and I've done this before, but what's not going to be standard is what will happen once we're airborne. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, my plan today is to treat this flight as a flight that will fly through LaGuardia's departure airspace. And by chance, we're going to have an extended period in LaGuardia's departure airspace today. This is totally unexpected, and of course, I don't know it now, but it's going to be pure delight since I was originally booked on a flight from LaGuardia, the airport that I just love. Once the tug is removed, we can contact ground control for taxi clearance to runway 16 today.
Ground, Moxie 581, right taxi with information Bravo.
Moxie 581, runway 16, taxi to the Alpha.
160 Alpha, Moxie 581.
It's a standard taxi to runway 16 today, and I'm going to take this time to explain what's going to happen after takeoff. We'll fly the standard departure procedure, which calls for near U-turn after takeoff. As we climb on this heading and get higher assignment altitudes from the controller, we will await a left-hand turn to fly southwestbound around the vicinity of the Hudson River so we can get eventual clearance to White, our initial departure fix in Ocean County, New Jersey. But White is popular, as it's used for many flights headed south from many area airports. And there are planes that will take off before us that need to go to White. They have priority, so the LaGuardia departure controller will actually hold us in his airspace by giving us an S-shaped turn over Lower Westchester in the Bronx. This is not the very first time I've taken what's known as a delay vector to White, but this time around, it's going to occur north of LaGuardia. This is going to keep us closer to LaGuardia while we spend extended time under LaGuardia's departure controller's frequency. Okay, that's the summary. I didn't know it at the time of taxi, but it happened and I filmed it. Let's get ready for takeoff. I'll speed up to the point where we enter the runway. Once on the tower frequency, you'll hear a plane get takeoff clearance on runway 11. A previous flight will get handed off to departure control, and then we're told to line up and wait on runway 16.
Cessna 7 Tango Hotel, make left traffic for runway 11, keep her downwind over numbers of 16, wind calm, runway 11, clear for takeoff.
Left traffic over the numbers of 161. Clear for takeoff, runway 11, 977 Tango Hotel.
0 Echo Lima, contact departure.
Departure now, with the signal 0 Echo Lima. Moxie 581, we are ready for departure, runway 16.
Moxie 581, Westchester Tower, traffic departure, runway 11, runway 16, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 16, Moxie 581.
We can now line up on runway 16, the principal runway at HPN, and the tower has informed us that there will be traffic departing on runway 11 as well. It's important to know this because runway 11 intersects with runway 16. The controller is carefully looking out the window, ensuring that we cannot get takeoff clearance until the departure on runway 11 is clear of runway 16. Let's move forward to the takeoff clearance when runway 16 is completely clear.
Moxie 581, wind calm, runway 16, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 16, Moxie 581.
Let's go. This A220 is meant to be airborne, not sitting on the ground. Now, as we're taking off, we have to consider that there are other planes doing what we're doing right now or have recently taken off. And they're headed the same way that we're going. Knowing this is key to understanding what's about to happen. Sure, it's an exciting moment for us right now, but it's being duplicated around us. The current controller in the tower, who gave us takeoff clearance, is not too concerned with this fact, but the local terminal area TRACON controllers are. In a moment, we'll get handed off to the first departure controller, who handles Westchester departures, followed by the controller who handles LaGuardia departures. Remember, the first right turn is done without the controller telling us to do so, but the subsequent turns will be issued by the controllers. Now, take a look at that light just over the wing. That's November 7 Tango Hotel, the plane that was issued takeoff clearance on runway 11 before we got takeoff clearance on runway 16. That plane is going to make a left turn back to runway 11. I love how we can clearly see how we're safely separated from this plane, but it's time for us to get handed off to the Westchester departure controller.
Moxie 581, contact departure in the right turn.
Departure, Moxie 581.
We're in the right-hand turn now that the controller mentioned. This brings us to a heading of 320 degrees. In the distance, we can see Long Island Sound, but we're moving away from it. But we'll come close to it again in an uncommon maneuver. In a moment, we'll check in with departure control as we climb to the initial assigned altitude of 3,000 feet.
Departure, Moxie 581, 2,500, climbing 3,000, let's just heat departure.
Moxie 581, needs departure, radar contact, climb maintain 7,000.
Climb maintain 7,000, Moxie 581.
Departure control has cleared us up to 7,000 feet since there's no conflict with LaGuardia arrivals above us as we continue the turn toward the Hudson. This is normal, and if you've watched any of my Breeze videos, I've done this multiple times. As a matter of fact, things will be normal for the next minute and a half or so because the current controller is not as concerned with fixed balancing as much as the next controller will be. This controller's task is to prepare us to get toward White, and that is accomplished by providing radar vectors because a turn to the northwest after takeoff isn't getting us toward Florida.
Moxie 581, turn left heading 270.
Left turn heading 270, Moxie 581.
270 degrees is our first radar vector, and it still points us toward the Hudson, but on a western heading rather than a northwestern heading. We can expect another turn to the left once we're in the vicinity of the Hudson. As we turn to the left now and the wing dips, we're afforded a great view of the downtown White Plains area. Now, it's my hope that we get a great view of all of Manhattan in a few minutes, and for that to happen, we need to turn left to the southwest, but our turn needs to be west of the Hudson River over New Jersey. Manhattan is way in the distance, and I'm keeping it in sight, hoping that we don't get an early left-hand turn, but we're getting closer to the turn point and are now about to enter LaGuardia's airspace. This is the frequency that LaGuardia departures contact on their initial climb from LaGuardia's runways. Let's get the handoff to the LaGuardia sector now.
Moxie, 581 departure 120.4, good.
As we check in while approaching the Hudson, listen to our controller turn us due south, which points us directly toward LaGuardia. I also want you to listen to the next plane departing from LaGuardia, Delta 2410.
Departure Moxie 581, 5,000, 500, climbing 7,000, flying heading 270.
Moxie 581, New York departure, maintain 7,000, turn left heading 180.
We'll maintain 7,000, left turn heading 180, Moxie 581.
Delta 2410, turn left heading 260.
Left turn heading 260, Delta 2410.
Delta 2410, turn left heading 260.
Left turn heading 260, Delta 2410.
Take Delta 2410, your radar contact leaving 3,000 feet, on to maintain 12,000.
I maintain 12,000, Delta 2410.
Moxie 581, turn left heading 130, back to Spring Trail over White, on to 12,000.
All right, left turn heading 130, and climb maintain 12,000, Moxie 581.
We're getting turned to the southeast now on a 130-degree heading. That's because Delta 2410 is also going to our initial departure fix and just took off from LaGuardia. The controller said 130 degrees is a vector for in-trail spacing over White. Now the controller is going to give us a speed restriction.
Moxie 581, do not exceed 250 knots.
Do not exceed 250 knots, Moxie 581.
So much just happened. We're now cutting across Westchester, heading back toward the Long Island Sound like when we took off. We just need to keep our distance from Delta 2410, who's ahead of us. As we turn around, we look north and we can see the airport that we just took off from. This turn forms a leg of a giant S that we're making over Lower Westchester. This is by far the most curviest departure that I've ever had. To complete the S, the controller is going to turn us to the right.
Moxie 581, turn right heading 250.
Right turn heading 250, Moxie 581.
Wow, so many turns so close to Westchester. 250 degrees is just south of west. This means that we're basically turning around over Lower Westchester and into the Bronx just north of LaGuardia Airport. We're going to see a lot now as we climb to 12,000 feet. The 12,000 feet assignment is the max allowed altitude in this airspace and is assigned based upon no conflicts with flights departing both LaGuardia and Newark. The dark area in the middle of the screen is once again Long Island Sound, and the area to the right of that is once again Long Island. We're making this large S-turn over New Rochelle, and once the wings are straight and level, we'll be entering the Bronx on the 250-degree heading. We're in dense airspace right now, with flights to LaGuardia landing on runway 22 below us, and other aircraft climbing off of runway 13 and headed west, also climbing below us. What a great view of Long Island. This time around, we're high, and we can see the Atlantic Ocean beyond it. The moonshine from the bright moon above helps us see the water. Even though it's night, we can see a lot. At this point, I need to start looking down because we're coming up on the final approach course to runway 22, and there's a lot to see. As I start panning down, we see City Island, an island in Bronx County in the Long Island Sound, as well as the southeastern part of the Bronx. That's a great view of the Throgs Neck and Whitestone bridges. As our wings level off on the 250-degree heading, the nose of this plane points directly toward Upper Manhattan. That's exciting, and we can see Queens and the ocean beyond it, but I'm just looking down. We can now see LaGuardia Airport. We'll keep an eye out for aircraft coming straight into runway 22 on the eastern shore of the Bronx. We're right in the middle of all the action. Once a plane lands on runway 22, a plane is given takeoff clearance on runway 13, and I'm looking very carefully for a plane on final approach to runway 22. There's a United 737 MAX from Houston down there. There it is. It's about 2 to 3 miles out for landing, so there's enough time for the tower to issue another aircraft takeoff clearance on runway 13. That plane will cross the intersection of runway 22 before the United 737 lands. It's not easy to see, but if you look very carefully, you can see the aircraft rolling on runway 13. It'll take off to the east, which is why arriving flights to runway 22 are flying their downwind legs west of LaGuardia up the Hudson. I was hoping to see them, but I won't, but we're still going to get amazing Manhattan views because of the next radar vector from departure control.
Moxie 581, left 220.
Left turn heading 220, Moxie 581.
A 220-degree heading finalizes the delay vectors we received over Westchester and the Bronx and puts us toward White. This is a fantastic turn because the turn puts us right down the Hudson River so we can see Manhattan. I was anxious about seeing it, but now that separation is good between us and Delta 2460, we're back on track and rewarded with this stellar view of Manhattan at night. I love seeing Central Park and Times Square to its right. As the wing goes back up, we get stellar views of Queens and Brooklyn. It's a beautiful night for flying in LaGuardia's control area, but the time has come for us to leave the LaGuardia control zone and get handed off to the next controller in the Terminal Radar Approach Control Facility out in Long Island, who handles flights between 12,000 and 17,000 feet.
Fox 581, contact 120.85, checking with speed.
2085, Moxie 581.
By the way, you can see that United flight that has just landed on runway 22 slowing down. We're done with ATC for this part of the flight, and I'll resume comms once we get to Vero Beach. If we were just a few miles west of the Hudson, we'd be able to see more of Manhattan, but I'm not complaining. We spent extended time in LaGuardia's airspace, and that makes me happy. The current controller is providing us a clearance to the left on the way to the south. From here on down, the flight becomes routine. I've been in this exact spot before as a white-bound departure from both LaGuardia and Westchester, and I'm delighted to be here. Now, who says that since we're past New York City and over in Monmouth County, New Jersey, that there's nothing to see? I'm not talking about the Jersey Shore down there. I'm talking about the plane headed towards us. That's Delta Flight 424, a 737-800 that just took off from JFK and is headed west towards its initial departure fix. It's bound for Denver. It's staying below us, and then will climb higher when past us. So far, this has been an exciting flight. Well, I am quite happy because we got to spend extensive time in LaGuardia's airspace via extensive radar vectors. I love it. It's almost like flying out of LaGuardia. Happiness continues as I take in this view of Atlantic City. We're under the control of the high altitude center now. Here, the moonlight shines on the water around the Cape May Peninsula. It's clear where the ocean ends and where Rehoboth Beach, Delaware begins thanks to the moon. Here's a view of Norfolk, but it's a little hard to see with the reflection of the blue interior cabin lights being on. Finally, the interior cabin lights are off. One of the issues that I have with a full flight is that service lasts longer and the lights are on for longer, but they're dimmed now. Here in New Bern, North Carolina is easier to see without the interior cabin lights. Not much to see right now, but we're getting knocked around quite a bit. We've entered an area of some weather while approaching Florida. Finally, some turbulence. My flights have just been way too smooth recently. Isn't it a great feeling when you're actually on an airplane and you can feel it? I'll take this over a smooth flight. Unfortunately, as we approached Florida, the interior cabin lights came back on so the flight attendants could do their safety checks. It's pretty impossible to see with the lights on, but you can actually see the Delta flight that was right ahead of us that was also going to the White intersection. That's the flight that was going from LaGuardia to Palm Beach. That flight is the reason why we did all those zigzag turns over Westchester and the Bronx.
On the ground approximately 26 minutes. Current weather, some clouds in the area. Temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit gusty. We thank you for flying Breeze. We look forward to having you on a future Breeze flight. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival. It's time to check in with Palm Beach Approach Control.
Palm Beach Approach, Moxie 581, 7,800, and 6,000 with information Foxtrot.
Moxie 581, Palm Beach Approach, plan for the RNAV, runway 12 right.
Plan for the RNAV 12 right, Moxie 581.
We'll land on runway 12 right today. Due to poor weather, I'll fast forward the communications, but I won't skip anything. A few minutes later, we were cleared to a point on the approach and cleared to 2,000 feet.
Moxie 581, clear direct Marino, this is maintain 2000.
Direct Marino, descend to maintain 2000, Moxie 581.
But the weather is not ideal, and the pilot works with the controller to avoid precipitation, and we get cleared to a fix further down on the approach called Hockey.
Moxie 581, are you showing Vero on this heading that way?
Yeah, there's just a large area of light precipitation, but nothing more than light.
Okay, yeah, we just something else about 10 miles up.
Okay, what heading looks good for you guys?
It's showing yellow and red. Maybe direct Hockey would be better.
581, clear direct Hockey.
Direct Hockey.
Later on, the controller mentioned that we could potentially fly a visual approach if we could see the airport.
C581, you're about to break out most of the weather that I'm projecting here on my scope, but let me know. I can sneak you in for the visual if you think you can pick up the field.
Moxie 581, Roger.
But in the end, we were cleared for the RNAV approach to runway 12 right.
Moxie 581, you're 6 miles from Muds, turn left heading 150, maintain 1,500, established on the final approach course, cleared for the RNAV to runway 12 right.
Heading 150, maintain 1,500 until established on the final, clear for the RNAV 12 right approach, Moxie 581.
This RNAV approach calls for us to make a U-turn. Let's make that U-turn before we get handed off to the tower.
Moxie 581, contact Vero Beach Tower 126.3. Have a good day.
Switching tower, Moxie 581, good night.
Okay, let's check in.
Vero Beach Tower, Moxie 581, RNAV 12 right.
Moxie 581, Vero Beach Tower, runway 12 right, clear to land, wind 080 at 14, gust 19er.
12 right, Moxie 581.
We're cleared to land. Let's land.
Wind 090 at 14, gust 19er. Moxie 581, taxi to the ramp via Charlie in this frequency. Have a good night.
Frequency, have a good night, Moxie 581.
As we taxied to the ramp while remaining on the tower frequency, it started to pour, and I began to become very concerned about our outdoor parking position and walk to baggage claim, which is also outdoors here. The precip started to get quite intense as we worked our way to the parking position.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Funding, we also like to extend a welcome to Vero Beach. Drive home safe. We're here about half an hour early. We'll see you next time. Good night.
I really enjoyed my flight this evening. Well, the good news is that the rain has stopped because this is an outdoor airport here. The weather is quite nice. As always, I love this kind of deplaning. very nice ride as always aboard the Airbus A220-300. All right, everybody, the video ends here. Thank you so much for joining me on this flight. What a great flight it was, and I really enjoyed my extended time in New York City airspace. Remember that if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to click on the subscribe button and hit the bell button so that you don't miss out on my next one. See you all soon. With all the traveling I do, I find myself just sitting for hours on an airplane, and I need a way to make up for that, so I use my Yesol G1M Plus for a regular cardio workout. A breeze to put together, and at a great price point, this is the best stationary bike I've ever had. With so much time spent sitting, this is a great fit for my lifestyle, and using it doesn't take me away from what I need to do. It's all about fun cardio, as this bike features wired multimedia casting, making a typical cardio workout transformed into something enjoyable. I mean, who doesn't enjoy watching Peter Masella's YouTube channel while working out? I know I certainly watch my channel all the time, even when I'm not working out, because the screen rotates 360 degrees, so I can watch the screen when not sitting on the bike. I love having an additional screen in my home in a place where I normally would not have one. What a great feature! Working out and enjoyment go hand in hand with Yesol. As a traveler, I love this feature, which allows me to feel like I'm biking abroad. And when I want to take things very seriously, I just tune into instructor-led courses. I always leave it to the pros to tell me what to do. I'm an expert as an airline passenger, but I'm not an expert trainer. And statistics are always available to me. These are some fantastic metrics that provide me with the right information at the right time. And I'm not the only one who uses Yesol.
Hey, this is Peter Sr. here. I'm using Yesol on a regular basis, and let me tell you, it's working wonders for me as well.
That's right, my dad loves using this product. After all, he also sits on airplanes a lot and needs the cardio workout. I've caught him using my Yesol bike on multiple occasions. He's especially fond of the 4-speaker system and 2 subwoofers for exceptional sound quality. As a viewer of this channel, you can take advantage of my discount code in the description below. It's exceptionally affordable. Imagine watching Netflix or the news or airplane videos while biking or at any angle. What a deal this is. That's right, you heard it. You can get a great discount with my code. You just gotta do it.